SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
Welcome to Race Day on Swimming World TV for Thursday, August 2nd, 2012, brought to you by SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. It's another day at the London Aquatic Center and another day of world records and upsets, as well as what could be the final matchup between Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte. To talk about it all with me are our Swimming World correspondents there in London, John Lone and Tiffany Elias. Hi guys, good to see you again. How you doing?
Doing well, Jeff. It was a great night.
Good, Jeff. It was definitely an emotional roller coaster tonight.
Yep, definitely was. Well, we gotta start with the men's 200 back final and men's 200 IM final because they're both kind of intertwined with Ryan Lochte in both. Men's 200 back, Tyler Clary getting the gold medal, 153.41. Ryusuke Irie second, 153.9, and Ryan Lochte third, 153.9. Then about 30 minutes later, Lochte's back for the 200 IM final where Phelps got the better of him, got that elusive three-peat, 154.27. Lochte is 154.90. And Laszlo Tjej, as always, is third, 156.22. John, I got to ask you, I'm sure everybody was expecting more from Ryan today because, as he's been saying, he's been training for this day for 4 years. I get the feeling that after that loss in the 400 free relay, his state of mind for this meet is really in another place.
I don't know if it's 100% that, Jeff. If you look at the way he's swimming, he was just better off in Shanghai last year. And sometimes you hit perfectly, and sometimes you're a little bit off. If you want to call this off, for anybody else, they would love this. But I can see tonight the 200 back deflating him going into the IM, especially when it's a bronze medal performance. I think it's just a combination of not being quite where he has been in the past.
Yeah, I think I want to think that too, but just I guess maybe it's all the talk of him being so confident before this meet, and like you said, sometimes you just never know that a taper just doesn't hit perfectly. Tiffany, what did you think of first Tyler Clary getting that gold medal, and then Michael Phelps being wall-to-wall dominant in that 200 IM?
Well, in the 200 backstroke, going into the 150, Clary and Lochte were pretty even, and we thought, okay, here's going to come the Lochte wall that will separate him, and this is going to be a win for Lochte doing what he needs to do to go into the IM. And Tyler Clary really surprised. Either he surprised us on the last wall or Lochte didn't do exactly what he normally does, but they were both identical on that final wall. So Lochte didn't get his advantage there that he normally does. And the same advantage that we assumed he was going to have in the 200 IM on the breaststroke leg with Phelps actually outsplit him on the breaststroke leg. So not only was Phelps about a third to a half a body length ahead of him going into the halfway, which is where he needed to be to hold off Lochte, he ended up outsplitting him there. So both of the advantages that we thought Lochte would have in both races, he didn't have. So I think those were the game changers in each event.
John, looking at that 200 IM, I mean, obviously, as I said, Phelps getting that 3 feet, the first man to do it, the third person to do it. It just seemed, and we'll talk about the 100 semi later, it just seemed like all of a sudden that huge weight has been lifted off of him. Do you agree with that?
It was a different look and a different body language to him, so I think that's a perfect assessment, Jeff. And it's nice to know that came through, not just here in person, but that people were able to see that. You know he didn't want to leave here without an individual gold medal. It was one thing to have it part of the relay. Nobody likes to win more than Michael Phelps. And for the 16th time in the Olympics, it's just hard to believe there it was. And yeah, it looked definitely like there was a sigh that got it done.
And Jeff, I have to say, leading up to tonight, we've been talking about how Phelps has been looking. He's been jamming his walls. We didn't think he looked like he really had that pop that he normally does. And tonight was a totally different Phelps. He was hitting his walls better. He looked smoother. His 100 butterfly tonight, which we'll talk about later, looked really nice. And and John and I were discussing that we think he's got a lot more speed. So it was nice to finally see the Phelps that we were more used to tonight versus who we've seen the last couple days.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about somebody else who had a huge weight on their shoulders. Rebecca Soni in the 200 breast final. Everybody around the world wanted to see her go under 220, and she did it, 219.59. Naomi Suzuki got second, 220.72, and Soni's training partner, Yulia Efimova, also got under 221, 220.92. You know, John, watching this race, I had the feeling that Suzuki and Suzanne van Biljon from South Africa, they were kind of trying to hold the pace with Soni, but it just seemed like really just a different kind of Rebecca Soni at this meet, especially in the 200. You know, what are your thoughts on how she swam that race today?
Nobody was going to be able to stay with her. They could try to hold on as long as they could, but with the exception of one race in the last 4 years, nobody's been able to do that. She eased off a little bit compared to the semifinal in the first half, and therefore had much more left at the end tonight. That last 50, she was surging. She looked like she was swimming a 100 breast. Her turnover was tremendous, and to see the way she reacted, you could tell how badly she wanted to break that barrier of 220. She pumped her fist, but she didn't just pump it a couple times. I mean, she continuously did, and it just shows, hey, like Phelps, she exhaled, got it done. That thing I've been chasing.
Even though she didn't really want to celebrate, she wanted, the goal was to break that 220. But what I thought was really interesting about this event is not only did she finally do it, but the other two swimmers, Efimova and Suzuki, were also 220 point. So it's taken this long to get somebody to break that barrier, and now we have three ladies that are all dancing around it. So soon that's going to be another event where we're going, wow, that many people are now under 220.
Yeah, it's like the women's 100 back. Once somebody broke a minute, everybody was doing it. So it's now, it's going to be, when will somebody break that 220? John, do you think Soni's going to stick around for another 4 years and see if she can do the three-peat?
Yeah, why not?
Well,
we haven't had. There's no indication that she's not going to. She's flying high. She's gold medalist again. She's a two-time defending champ. You figure the opportunities are going to be there for her. So if she wants to take those, why not?
Well, Jeff, and if Ricky Behrens doesn't propose here in London, then she's going to need to stick around for a meet that's big enough to out-top Griever's proposal. So I think if it doesn't happen in London here, then she's going to hang around till a big enough swim meet where he's going to pop the question.
Yeah, I was looking at the medal ceremony. I was wondering if Ricky was kind of hiding behind somewhere and was going to run out after she got her gold medal and kind of, really outdo what Matt and Annie did. But,
that's been done. That would have been copycat.
Yeah, it would have been. So I guess Ricky's trying to find his own little unique moment, which I'm sure will be just as great. And, even if it's a private moment, I'm sure Rebecca would be very happy. All right, women's 100 free final. Ranomi Kromowidjojo kind of proved to everybody that she is going to be the fastest woman in the world, 53 flat. Tang Yi right there of China, 53.38. And then Hera Semenya, who was the co-world champion last year, 53.44. Missy Franklin was 5th. Jessica Hardy was 8th. Tiffany, I gotta wonder, was this kind of a race where that win was ever in any doubt?
No, I think we all knew that was exactly what was going to happen. Kromowidjojo was out fast at the 50. I would have made bets that she was going to win. However, I was kind of shocked at how, we know Missy Franklin doesn't usually have the speed right up front, but she was 8th at the 50. She still moved up a couple places. I thought she was going to be a little bit more in the hunt. Jessica Hardy was a little hit or miss. She's hasn't been as consistent as the other swimmers. She had a really great trials, but she was kind of, like I said, hit or miss for me tonight. So I definitely think Kromowidjojo had the gold in her, but I was hoping Missy was going to get in there for at least a bronze.
Well, Tiffany, do you think that going 206 in that 200 back semi kind of maybe took a little bit too much out of her? Obviously, she didn't need to go 206. Do you think maybe that tired her a little bit more than she thought it would?
To the normal swimmer, I would say yes, but we've seen her do it so many times that I have to say no. So if we hadn't seen her do doubles like that before, if we didn't see her win the 100 backstroke after 200 freestyle, I would say for sure. I think she's obviously feeling the fatigue, but she just was not even in the race at all until the end. Maybe if they had a little bit, another 20 meters, she could have moved up maybe a place or two more, but I hope she's not feeling the fatigue yet, because she's got, like you said, the 200 backstroke final tomorrow, which I think is going to be a great race between her and Beisel. Excited to talk about that one.
Yeah, and I think maybe that 100 freestyle, she's still learning it. I mean, she's still relatively new to it compared to her other events. So, you know, she's still got a long time to get better at that. All right, so let's talk about those semis. First up was the men's 50 free. Great swim between Cesar Cielo and Cullen Jones in that first semi, tying 21:54. Anthony Irvin, he's third, 21:62, and Bruno Fratis, 21:63. I think this is really just one of those races for the ages. I mean, this is like the 100 free where the door's a little open for Cullen Jones, Anthony Irvin, almost anybody to really get that gold medal. It's not as clear cut as I think everyone says it was. Do you agree, John?
I think there's definitely a chance someone other than Cielo could win, but if I remember right, Cielo wasn't dominating through the semifinals in Beijing either, and then came through with that 21:30 to win that race. So we'll see how this goes. The Americans are going to be there. What was crazy about that race is that 2 guys went under 22 and aren't even going to compete tomorrow night. There are 10 guys under sub 22. An unbelievable amount of speed in the world.
And what I think is awesome about Anthony Irvin in this race is at trials, when he was swimming really well after semis or after prelims, they said, "Can you do it again?" And he said, "I hope so." And after semis, he said, "I hope I didn't get lucky." And then today they asked him, "Do you think you have a chance to medal?" And he said, "I don't know." I mean, his optimism is completely different than a lot of the other athletes here, but I just think maybe that relaxed, no expectation mentality is really going to work for him.
Yeah, he's gone a lot further than a lot of people and maybe even himself thought. So, you know, just have no expectations. Probably the way to go. You're absolutely right. All right, women's touring back. Elizabeth Beisel and Missy Franklin 1-2 going into finals. Megan Ney of Australia's third. Kirsty Coventry, who will have a chance to defend her Olympic gold for the third time, is seventh. I've really got to believe that this is going to be an America 1-2. You know, obviously we're all thinking Missy Franklin's got the edge on it. You know, we're all thinking there's a world record. But Elizabeth Beisel's the one that I'm concerned about. You know, she's got a lot of competition behind her. What do you think, Tiffany, it's gonna take for her to get on the podium?
Well, Beisel doesn't have as many swims under her belt as Missy at this point, but she looked really good tonight. She brought her last 50 back in a 31.7 compared to the 32s and 33s across the board. So she was showing that she had some good energy left in the tank. Now, my concern is she actually looked like she was going after it, so I don't know how much faster she can go. Hopefully the adrenaline, again, will help her in there. But Missy's been kind of up and down in her races. 100 backstroke was great, but then she's had some not-so-great races. So I'm not exactly sure where she's going to be at tomorrow, but I'm optimistic that we're going to see a 1-2 in this race. And if Beisel can back half this again like she did tonight, then I think she's going to be right there with Missy.
It just depends, like you said, on how well she can control herself, and if she was indeed going all out in semis, if you know the other girls weren't going all out, if she can kind of control herself and just race them. All right, last event of the night was the men's 100 fly semi, and Michael Phelps 50.86, the only one under 51 seconds. Chad Leclos still just riding high after that 200 fly, second, 51.42. Tyler McGill's third, and Michael Kavik is fourth. I don't think this is going to be Beijing all over again. I think Michael's kind of set himself up as a clear favorite, but you know, I'm not totally counting out Chad Leclos. He had the same kind of closing speed that Michael Phelps has. It's just a matter, I think, of whether Chad can have that speed that everybody else has. John, how do you see this race shaking out tomorrow?
I'm just not convinced that Chad Leclos can be 50.5, 50.6. It's probably what it would take to, at minimum, to win the gold medal. Michael looked so good with that 50.86, and that was on the heels of the IM plus the award ceremony. So I could imagine he's going to be quicker tomorrow night. His speed's been good here. We saw that in the 100 freestyle. So that's a positive development. I'm expecting for his final individual swim of his Olympic career to see something special. That's what the guy does.
Yeah, it definitely could be. All right, before we go, I wanted to kind of bring up the women's 800 freestyle prelims that we saw earlier today. And Rebecca Adlington and Lotta Freese, as expected, are 1-2. Katie Ledecky, the 15-year-old who everybody said is going to be a good challenger for gold, for third. Tiffany, obviously Rebecca's got 17,000 people in the stands on her side, and what do you think is going to be the key for not just Lotta Freese but Katie Ledecky to be able to challenge Adlington?
This home crowd makes such a difference. It is so unbelievably louder. Even I get the goosebumps when they're cheering for swimmers, for the Great Britain swimmers. Going to other venues, I feel like it's made all the difference there as well. So I think that extra adrenaline is huge. John and I were talking about Ledecky earlier today and saying that John said she looked good, but we're not necessarily sure how much left or how much faster she can go. I think this is Rebecca's race to lose.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. But I just think back to trials where she went after it and she held on. She went 8:19, which is not going to win a gold medal. But I think you just never know. She's 15, John. I mean, anything could happen with a 15-year-old mind in the Olympic final.
Just the way she looked today, I think she'll be around maybe a little bit quicker than what she was at trials. But you're right, Jeff. Maybe she's so naive that plays in her favor, that she doesn't know any better. What's the big deal? And then she goes out and maybe is 8:16, which we've only seen once in textile, and that was Janet Evans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be, everybody's saying she's the next Janet Evans. So to be able to take down that 8:16.22 would be something to behold. All right, well, that is going to be one of the races we'll watch tomorrow. Thank you again, John and Tiffany. We'll see you then.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, bye, Jeff.
All right, so once again, that's John Lone and Tiffany Elias joining us from the London Aquatic Center. That's going to do it for race day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.